twizzle with me.
Everybody starting doing the twizzle. Everybody, if you're ready to sizzle, you twist a little and you twist a lot, and when you really get hot, that's the twizzle, twizzle, twizzle.
Weeknights starting at 9/8 Central on MeTV.
Hi, I'm John Malos, and welcome to this edition of Connect with Me, live on the showroom floor here at Ventura TV on this Monday morning. It's on the air, off the presses, with one of my favorite talk shows, Chris Daniel from KMJ. We encourage your phone calls, 436-MeTV. Hey, don't get freaked out by the recording. Just don't wade through that stuff. Just hit option 11 like immediately, and I'll put you on the air, I promise. Back with our guest in just a moment.
Tonight I want to discuss the importance of the television medium to the American people.
And welcome back here to the show. Connect with me on the showroom floor, of course, of Ventura TV. You're watching us live on Comcast Channel 187 and 43.6. And what a day it is. Hey, what a week it's going to be. At least the next couple of days, we're talking about my favorite subject, trash. You know, all we do here is trash talk, and we're going to be doing that probably for the next couple of weeks. Of course, the telephone number is 436-MeTV. Hit option 11. Don't wade through that minutia, all that stuff, that recording. Just hit option 11 like immediately, and you will get on the air. Today, we're talking to Chris Daniel. He is from KMJ. You know, I don't know how this guy does it. 4 hours a day on KMJ radio. He has a talk show Monday through Friday. I mean, we have a tough time here figuring out what we're going to do on a daily basis, and we only do a half an hour. Friday afternoon, I had a chance to stop by the KMJ studios. They're all very friendly there, and I taped just a little bit of Chris's segment around the 2 o'clock hour. Here's a look and a listen.
I was, we keep logs of every word we say here, of course, and every commercial we play and every prize we give out. And each night when I get home, I study the reports to spot trends, because that's what I feel like I should do. or something.
And that bridge is down to 2,200,000 and no
Just
change.
2.2 now.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, I'm confused. That translates as watching Reno 911.
Yeah,
right?
it pretty much does.
Come on.
But what I noticed was we don't give a lot of prizes out in the 2 o'clock hour. That the 2 o'clock hour listener, the early to this show listener, doesn't really get a chance to win a lot of stuff, even on Friday with benefits. So I thought we'd do the Good News Challenge here. So if you don't know what the Good News Challenge is, it's wonderful and terrible at the same time.
There he is, live in the studio now, is Chris Daniel from KMJ. I love the fact that he's a San Francisco Giants fan, and I love that old-time hat. Chris is a return guest here, as you can imagine. He was here once before. Glad to have him back. 436-MeTV. By the way, Jackie Parks, the head of the police union here in the city of Fresno, held a news conference about an hour and a half ago. I do have a clip from Jackie. I'll talk to Chris about that, and we'll talk to you if you call in, 436-MeTV. Hit option 11 like ASAP, and we'll be back ASAP in just a moment.
Frigidaire. We introduced the first home freezer, the first pulsator agitator washer, and now we introduce the Frigidaire Orbit Clean Dishwasher, designed with a unique wash arm that gives you 4 times more water coverage for a consistently better clean. Frigidaire, over 90 years of legendary innovation.
See the full line of Frigidaire appliances at Ventura TV Electronics and Appliances.
Election day is tomorrow. Are you all set to go out and vote? Or maybe you already sent your absentee ballots in. You know, they had like, what, 33,000 already ballots that were already sent to the registrar's office, I believe, last week. I don't think they counted those yet, but they will at some point. Tomorrow's the big vote on Measure G, and I'm very happy to have Chris Daniel back from KMJ. How are you, my friend?
I'm all right. How you doing?
How was your weekend?
We did Crime Stoppers June Jam, so I'm all copped up for Measure G.
Oh my God. What do you think? Okay, Jackie Parks had this news conference about 9 o'clock this morning, and he was trash talking, as both sides have done up to this point. And what do you make of all this at this point? It's really gotten convoluted.
There are people lining up on funny sides. You got Doug Vagum on the no side, which was a little surprising to some.
He's a conservative.
He's a conservative. Tal Cloud is conservative. You got the Lincoln Club with two guys, Tal Cloud saying no, Mike DeManuel saying yes, out of the same organization.
So DeManuel's in favor of Measure G, right?
Very much so, yes.
Wow, and so, but you have Tal Cloud, who's also a member of the Lincoln Club, or at least he was. I don't know if he still is. He's going no, and Vagum's going no.
Find out. I'm gonna interview them this afternoon on the show, so they'll both be there with their positions. Some people are going into minutia. Others are saying these are basic issues. So there's another way it gets divided.
I don't know. You know, I was at the news conference this morning, and I was telling George Hostetter of the Fresno Bee, there's so many crises going on around the country, around the world today. I mean, you got all these killer tornadoes, people dying, neighborhoods wiped out in Oklahoma. You got the crisis in Washington, okay? You got civil wars all over the place in the Middle East, of course, Syria. And we're worried about who is going to pick up our garbage.
But John,
I mean, are you kidding me?
If no one picks up your garbage, you don't care about the rest.
I'm not saying don't pick it up. We're battling over who's going to pick it up.
Yes.
Isn't that crazy?
And the no side is it's crazy. Is saying, well, it ain't broke, don't fix it, and the mayor's saying we are broke, we have to fix it. So I don't know.
Just pick up the garbage.
Please.
I don't care who picks it up. Just if I leave it out there, pick it up. For goodness sake. I did go to the news conference, as I said, and I want to run that soundbite from Jackie Parks, and I'll get your reaction on the other side of this. Let's roll it.
Do you trust Mayor Swearingen?
No, I don't.
Why?
Well, we're looking at a city budget versus, which is in black and white, versus what she has said through the Measure G campaign. And the money isn't there for the police department. Also, as I mentioned earlier at the press conference, the mayor is a wonderful person. I know a lot of people like her, but she is a politician. And politicians have agendas. Sometimes their agenda is they want to just stay locally. They want to do the best thing that they can for their community. And sometimes that agenda is they have their eye on a higher office. And there's no secret, her campaign manager, Tim Clark, has it right on his bio page for his firm, that she's the premier female Republican candidate for governor, as he sees it. So, the concern I have is what's more important? Is it the city of Fresno, or is it what it takes to get to the next office?
Tell us quickly, do you think Jerry Dyer has been duped, and if so, why, and by whom?
Yeah, well, I would have to say my perception is that based on the information from the general fund and what the campaign has been saying, and in my conversations with Chief Dyer, that he believes that there will be money to help the police department, that he's been duped. That he's been duped by the city administration into believing that there's going to be money that is coming from Measure G that will be specifically earmarked for the police department.
Was he duped by the mayor?
Well, I would say the city's administration.
Okay. And the police department stands to lose how much in spite of a possible passage by Measure G?
Well, right now in the city budget for FY14, they have approximately $145 million. Last year's budget we had 146, so you're just over $1 million less this year in the budget.
Even if Measure G passes?
Even if Measure G passes.
Okay, that was the No on G people over there near the Mediterranean restaurant in central Fresno this morning about 9 o'clock. Jackie Parks, the head of the police union, talking about that budget crisis with the police department. Let's put the numbers up on the screen, what Jackie was talking about. This is according to Jackie Parks, the head of the police union. Last year, this year, 2013, $146 million for the police department. In 2014, it'll be down by $1,038,200, even if Measure G passes. So, Chris, what do you make of all this?
Saw the numbers for the first time 10 minutes ago. Don't know where he got them. Don't know if they're real.
Yeah, I don't know either. He handed out these numbers in a packet, of course, at the news conference. But if that's true, I mean...
Wasn't he also challenged on the line above it, though, where there actually is less money in the general fund?
Yeah, there's actually more money. There's about $3 million more money in the general fund. The police department is a part of the general fund. but he's saying specifically there's less money for the police department. So I don't know. See,
I wish Jackie talked more about the issue than the possible political aspirations of Ashley Swearingen. What does that have to do with trash?
See how convoluted this thing is?
Everybody's got
unbelievable.
I know. He's really good at his job.
Well, so is the other side. I mean, Swearingen's good. You know, you have Dyer coming out on the commercials. You know what a PR guy Dyer is. And he was the PR guy before. And so when people go to the polls tomorrow, do you think it's going to be a big turnout or small?
I think it will be bigger than the special election a couple weeks ago because it does matter. Your trash matters. I think with 33,000 absentee in, I think it'll be a low to moderate.
Really?
Yeah.
15, 20% turnout maybe?
Not counting the absentees, I hope so. Yeah, I hope so.
And that's not bad for an off-election year.
It's not bad for off-election year. It's not bad for Fresno in a presidential year. What are you talking about? We're lucky to crack 27.
People just don't go out and vote here. I don't know why, but you better vote on this one because if you don't, hey, don't complain when it's over and your trash, you know, you got a problem with your trash, you got a problem with the city or the company, whatever. Vote tomorrow. We're back more with our talk with Chris Daniel of KMJ News Radio. A lot to talk about on this day. I know we had a phone call before. We couldn't take it, but 436-ME-TV, hit option 11, join the conversation. We're back in just a moment. Stay tuned.
Don't you ever hit me again!
Chief, I think we got a hit on our Me TV Fresno, now on Comcast Channel 187.
And we're back. If you're watching us, 436-ME TV, turn down the sound on your TV if you're listening and calling in right now. Let's take a call. Good morning. You're on Connect with Me. How are you?
Just fine, sir. I have a quick question.
Sure. Go ahead.
If they're saying that our garbage pickup will be reduced by, I don't know, what they say, 17, 18% in the next year or so, why is it that Mid-Valley has raised the rates for county pickup?
You want to take a stab at this one? I don't know.
Is this the same gentleman who called me on Friday?
No, sir.
Okay, I'm sorry.
It's the first time I've ever called
because
in.
I didn't get a chance to pick up that call. We had run out of time on the show, and the mayor had left. I haven't heard a solid answer to that yet, but I have heard a confirmation that what you're saying is true, that for some of the county rates, it was already in the contract to raise, and I guess they just proceeded with the contract. And to be honest, my information is very slim on that.
Okay. Well, I mean, if it was already in the contract, there's not much we can do. But
It's pre-existing to Measure G. That was confirmed.
Okay, I appreciate your time, sir.
Where do you stand on the issue, by the way? Just a quick question from me.
Well, if in fact it's true that it's going to reduce the rate and not cost the city money, I think it's a good idea. However, if it's going to cost jobs, then maybe they might want to look at something else.
Yeah, well, you live in the city.
I'm not sure what it is, but...
Right, and you live in the city, do you?
No, sir, I live in the county.
Okay.
And my rates have gone up.
Okay, well, maybe that was in the contract. I don't know. And I'm sure it's in this contract, too. I mean, I haven't seen the contract, and I don't want to speculate, but I'm sure there has to be some increases in there, Chris. It's got to be. I mean,
not according to the city contract. I mean, it's 9
I mean,
years.
over the life of the 8 years of the contract, there are no increases by Mid-Valley? I mean, the first 2 years, I think there's a 17 to 18% reduction. But then after that...
Slightly incremental, and then it goes from there.
Yeah, it goes from there.
As it probably would have anyway. So,
yeah.
All right.
All right. One more thing about Measure G, and then we'll talk about something else. And
All
that
right.
is one more thing I want to throw in the mix, and you probably heard this too. In the city charter that was drawn up in the 50s, you can't take public utilities money and use it in the general fund. That's another thing in the mix. I'm sure you've heard that.
And that gets danced around all the time, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Every new city councilman's got a new take on it. We hear about charter revisions and all of it. It's so I feel like I'm always standing on BBs trying to figure out what the city does with the general fund and not when it comes to public use.
Oh man, it's hot coals.
Yes.
We're walking on hot coals.
Yes.
Good morning. You're on Connect with Me. How are you?
All right.
Good.
Listen, I wanted to ask real quick about that also on the raise, because the apartments where I live were all like Social Security and lower, and it's a problem for us that they already changed ours over to the new company. We have smaller container and fewer containers, and they raised the bill, is what we were told by our apartment people, and we're all going, well, now why is Measure G so good then?
Are you city or county, ma'am?
We're city, 93727.
And the new company is Mid Valley?
Yeah.
You're talking commercial though, right? You're talking commercial. You have to be, because it can't be residential.
Well, we're residents.
No, I'm talking, but there's a difference between commercial pickup and residential pickup, so it's got to be commercial pickup, I'm assuming. Has to be.
Well, if I told you where I lived, it would cause a problem for me to say it on the air, so I don't want to.
Yeah, there are too many people watching, so let's not do that. But
yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I mean, that's the back and forth of this issue, and that's the beauty of it, is that there's so many things that get thrown in the mix here. It does really get confusing, and really people...
it ends up getting thrown into the mix of why our rent gets raised.
Yeah, and that's a problem. I'm sure you're talking... If you live in an apartment complex, it's got to be commercial pickup, I'm assuming, right, Chris?
I don't think so. I haven't lived in an apartment for a while, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, but... yeah, I mean, there are so many things, and people are going to go to the polls and they're going to vote with their heart, maybe not their head, and they may not have all the facts, and the facts may be confusing.
There's a lot of people who like them to vote with their heart, and I'm saying, look at the money's the money. At some point, it's finite. If you want them to stop spending, they're trying to stop spending.
Right.
So let them stop spending and vote yes.
Yeah. Okay, thank you for the call. I really appreciate it. And we got to go to commercial break. We're going to come back with more of Chris Daniel from KMJ and your phone calls in just a moment.
Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're the save energy, save time, save money place. The Energy Star qualified #1 rated high-efficiency Cabrio from Whirlpool Place. You heard right. Right now, save big on select Whirlpool Cabrio laundry pairs and pay no interest when paid in full within 6 months. At the hometown low price, think outside the big box place. Since 1951, Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're working hard to be your place.
We're back with Chris Daniel of KMJ, and I was there, of course, in your studio on Friday shooting some video, and I want to turn to the monitor and roll the videotape, if I could, and talk to you about your show a little bit. Okay, there you are with your cast of characters. Who are we looking at there?
On the right, that's Brandon Shoemaker, former police officer. In the center, that's my senior producer, Philip Teresi. And on the left, that's me with that excellent Giants hat on.
I love that hat. Oh, my gosh. We do have another phone call. Keep that video up there if you would. Keep it rolling there, R. We'll take the call. Hello, you're on Connect with Me. How are you?
Hello?
Hey, you're on the air. How you doing?
Pretty good.
Hey, good.
I just wanted to make a comment regarding the Measure G.
Yeah, okay.
And basically, I used to make my checks payable to the Fresno Municipal District years ago.
Sure.
And I assumed that was to go for a bill for water and trash to keep our streets clean.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the money to be used for equipment, and et cetera, et cetera. And now it's to the city of Fresno, and it seems like somebody has decided, well, there's a bunch of money here that we can use and take away from that service. And it seems to me the bottom line is they're not budgeting their money correctly. That money was set aside for a specific purpose, and that was to take care of our streets, which is first and foremost, I think, with our tax dollars.
Yes.
And that's it. I just wanted to comment on that.
Okay.
That's a good comment. I think he's right about that. I mean, the job one is doing the things for us that we can't do for ourselves, and that's picking up the trash and keeping the streets clean and keeping them safe.
Right. We're going to continue looking at the video here, and your two sidekicks again are...
Philip Teresi is my producer, and then on Fridays we do a thing called Fridays with Benefits, and Brandon Shoemaker comes in.
Where
would you like?
There you go. Sorry. Yeah, so Brandon Shoemaker.
Got used to that icky video part.
Yeah, he comes in and he adds comments. Whatever you're talking about, he'll add to it.
Yes, or challenge me, or get in my face, or
right. Now the question is, how do you fill 4 hours daily with the content? I mean, I guess there's so much going on, right?
Yeah, but you don't want to load up too much. So we're heavily phone intensive. So
yeah,
the thing that never gets said is 4 hours is a long time, but there's a lot of callers who call that make up a lot of that time for me.
The phone lines are jammed always, right?
Pretty
for the
much
most
always,
part.
yeah.
Okay, we got a lot of calls today. You're a popular guest. Good morning. You're on Connect with me. How are you?
Oh, just fine. Good morning.
Good morning to you.
I want to say hello to Chris Daniels. I'm
Hi.
a long-time listener of his shows.
Thank you.
I used to listen to you, Chris, when you were on with Nikki.
Oh no, really? You listen
Yes,
to that
I'm
show?
Mary. I used to sing that song, that Western song. It says, he drinks tequila. I speak dirty in Spanish.
It's nice to hear you. I think you and two other people were the only listeners to that show, but I love that show.
Yeah, I love that show, talking to both of you. And I listened to you on KMJ.
Thank you.
I was listening, because I listen to both Spanish and English radio and TV. And I was listening to Spanish radio one day last week, and this gentleman made a call. And they were talking about this measure, the G thing. And he said, I don't know if I'm right the way he said it, but will they be using the trucks that they're using now here, or will they get their own trucks?
They're taking the city's trucks, but from my understanding, a lot of the city's trucks, a pretty good percentage, are at near the end of their lives.
Yeah.
Right.
Their useful lives. So, but yeah, the equipment that the city has would be going along with the city employees to Mid Valley.
Well, this is what this gentleman said. Okay, he says they're going to use the city trucks. Then after a while, if this doesn't work out and they want to get the trucks back, is the city going to have to buy them back from them? And what's going to happen here? There's more money involved.
In talking to the mayor last Wednesday, she said there's no way they would buy them back. Most of them are at the end of their service life. That whole pennies on the dollar you're hearing from the no side talks about that, but it seems that wouldn't be a situation that would happen anyway, even if the whole deal blew up in the worst possible case scenario. Those trucks would go to wherever trucks go when they die.
Oh, okay. Well, it was nice talking to you. And
You
I'll
too.
listen
Thank
to
you for
like
that.
always.
That mention of that little show I love so much.
Oh, yes.
Thank you
He
for
was
the.
one of the greatest.
Thank you.
He is
Right.
good. He's a great talk show host. So what show was she talking about? What is that? Explain that.
I did 14 years at KRZR Rock Radio,
Right,
and I
right.
left to go to a new format that had popped up called Hot Talk, and it lasted exactly 5 months.
Yeah.
And then I experienced unemployment for the first time in my adult life.
For how long?
18 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
18 months on the beach, huh?
On the beach.
Ooh, boy, that's a long time.
Yeah, it was when you're about 46 years old. Yeah,
It's
it
an
was.
eye-opener, huh?
Yeah,
Like,
it really
what am I
was.
going to do?
I
You
know.
know? Get a
Especially
job?
when you do what we do.
Yeah, I
Got
know.
a lot of openings.
I mean, what are we going to do? Collect garbage? I mean, get a
I was-
job with the city.
I was pretty close.
You know, I mean, you got to do what you got to do, right?
I was 1 day away from working for a very nice company selling incontinence pads on the road to hospitals on the coast when KMJ called. I was that desperate.
Amazing. Well, you know what? I mean, I've been there. I've
Yeah.
been there, my friend. I've been on the beach. I know what you're talking
Yes,
about.
sir.
It's an eye opener. It's awakening. There's no doubt about it. And
And you get spoiled because when people give you the privilege of being able to speak your mind on television or radio, to say what you think about things for a number of years, and suddenly it's taken away, about a month in, I'm going, I'm shouting at the walls.
There's nobody to talk
Nobody
to.
wants to hear what I have to say. What's going on?
When did KMJ call?
I started doing some fill-ins in 2008, quite a few of them actually, for Ray and Ray Appleton and all that. And the final call came in October of 2008.
Yeah. And then, of course, you were doing stuff on the FM side.
Yes, and the AM side.
And the AM side. Now you're just doing AM?
No, it's FM and AM from 2 to 5, and then the fourth
Okay.
hour's on the AM side.
Oh, okay. Okay, but it's simulcasted, basically, is what you're saying.
Yeah, and it was nice because the split was hard.
So what were you doing on the split? What were the time periods?
Last go-around was 1 to 3 on the FM side, and then I would sit around for 2 hours and then do 5 to 7 on the AM.
Here's what I want to ask you. I want to roll the videotape again and look at you guys in the studio here and talk directly in the mic if you can.
The world's least decorated studio?
Yeah, well, no, it's nice. I mean, you have a great building over there. There's
Yes.
nothing to complain about. You have a beautiful studio. But how, and I've always wondered this, I'm sure throughout your career you've gotten abusive callers. How do you deal with them?
You can't see him, but the gentleman to my left there, Philip Teresi, is as producer, is also the call screener.
Right. But do you let
people
them
can
speak
get
their
in.
mind? Do you let them just play it out, or what do you do?
I tend
or do you
to.
cut them off?
I tend to. If you're going to tell people to call in and offer their opinion, you're also saying bad things could happen. And they took the time. Now that there gets to a certain point of abuse or, of course, obscenity, once they become obscene, off they have to
well,
go.
you hit the button, don't you?
You hit the button, and a KMJ, you don't just hit the button, you hit the axe, you're gone. So
Yeah, and you're looking at monitors there. What are you looking at? You got 3 of them.
Those would be callers right there. I'm talking to a caller right now.
On the far right.
On the far right. So sorry. And the center is our commercial log and how things are rolling through the hour. And the left is, I don't know what the left screen is really for, other than it tells me the time. It may be the world's most expensive clock.
Right, right. And so getting back to this caller thing, is it a caller-driven show?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you have to let it play out.
Generally, you have to let it play out. If they're going after you personally, then you make a decision. Is it entertaining? Is it worthwhile? If they're giving out personal information that shouldn't be on the air, no. Other than that, yeah, it's pretty free reign.
I heard Ray Appleton last week. We'll turn you back around here.
Yes.
And there was a caller, very abusive caller. Ray kept his cool. You remember the one I'm talking about?
Her name, young
and
lady?
I can't think of her name.
Cindy.
Cindy, okay.
She's called us all.
Yeah, she got real personal, borderline abusive, and Ray just let her talk. He did not lose his cool at all.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much what you have to do, is what you're saying.
Generally. They have we ask them to call.
Have you ever lost it with any caller?
A couple times.
Yeah.
Times. It has, losing it with a caller is losing the show. It's losing the battle, it's losing the show. There's no point to it.
Right.
Some people try to egg you on to get you to say something insane so that you're there the next day with a sheet of paper saying, I am so sorry.
So if they call up and they say, God, you're a jerk, and you just sit there and say, okay.
I have been a jerk.
Not that you are, I'm just using
My
that
question would generally be, in what way do you particularly consider me to be a jerk?
So you turn it around.
You try to, yeah.
It's amazing. There's not really a shortage of things to talk about, of course, in this day and age. So how do you choose? Because you've got, a list a mile long of topics you could talk about. Measure G, you could talk about the Oklahoma stuff, the tornadoes, you talk about overseas stuff, the scandals in Washington. Do you try to keep it local, or how do you determine what's local and what's going to be national?
Rule 1 is it entertaining? Are people talking about it?
Really?
Rule 2 is, I would say local. Local really matters. People really do respond more to local issues. We could have a more full show talking about a small street fight in Clovis than arming Syrians with Russian missiles. People know more about it, they feel it, they know the neighborhood, they want to talk about it.
Yeah.
So we keep to that, and a little humor doesn't hurt either.
Right, and so you pick out topics, newsworthy topics that affect people's lives here in Fresno.
Try to.
Yeah.
Try to.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you do the national stuff too, you do the statewide stuff, but the more you can bring it back to home, the better it is.
Do you have meetings before the show with your producer? And
short ones.
Short ones.
I prep at home, so most of them's on the phone, back and forth. What are we doing?
And so you determine, before you even come into the studio, you know what you're going to talk about. Does it ever change when you get there?
Absolutely. If you don't leave room to change, then you're forcing folks to listen to and talk about something you have planned when maybe that day you were wrong. Maybe something flashes. Maybe something happens. You have to always be willing to change stream.
Okay, you're on 2 to 6 today. We've got about a minute left. Topic today is what?
Measure G.
I've never heard of that one. What is that all about, Chris?
I don't even know what it stands for. I'm sure it's just another election because we like to do it. We love our elections in
And
California.
tomorrow, Measure G. And I'm
Yes.
sure Wednesday you'll be talking about the outcome of
Yes.
Measure G.
Vote.
My goodness. Anyway, Chris Daniel, I love your show.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome here anytime. I want you coming back over the summer at least once.
Thank you.
You're going to go on
Appreciate the
vacation here pretty soon, huh?
Fairly. I should be going in July or so, yeah.
Yeah, all right. We'll have you on after that.
Thank you.
Good to see you. Good
All
luck.
right.
All right, Chris Daniel, News Talk 580 KMJ, Monday through Friday, 2 to 6. Don't miss the show. He's a great talk show host, and call into his show too. We're back tomorrow, and we're going to talk about Measure G. See you tomorrow. Have a good one.
James Arness is Marshal Matt Dillon.
They were looking for me. They're going to be back.
On Gunsmoke.
That's right.
Weekdays at 1 on MeTV.